I loved the original Hyrule Warriors game, and I've done several countdown videos for it. With the release of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity, I guess I'll see about doing them again, starting with my loved and hated characters. Just like with the original game, as some characters have multiple weapons, each weapon will be counted separately, but each character can only appear once in each list. When deciding who I love and hate, being able to ruin tons of dudes is a factor, but there's more to it, like being able to go up against bosses, having a good special attack, though I won't be talking much about those, seeing as I'll probably end up doing a loved and hated special attacks video, and of course a fun to play as. This won't be including any of the DLC stuff, seeing as at time of writing, none of it has come out yet. There will be some minor spoilers due to some of the characters discussed, and the lists will be in the usual format, so with that, let's get going. For a long time, I had King Hyrule as the 5th most loved, as I really liked him, but then he was overtaken at the last minute by Calamity Ganon. I didn't like playing as Ganon in the original Hyrule Warriors, so I was a tad worried this would end up going the same way, but oh no, he's so much fun. He's surprisingly quick, has some great combos, entering Calamity form after absorbing enough malice makes the battle so much more epic, and when I saw his amazing weak point smash for the first time, it pretty much sealed his place on the list. What keeps him from being higher up is that he's quite a large target, so it can be difficult to avoid getting hit, and by the time he's unlocked, you probably won't have much left to do in the game, so you'll most likely end up using the other characters you've already beefed out, unless you spend time beefing out Calamity Ganon as well, which is what I did because he's awesome. Apparently, the reason Breath of the Wild Zelda wasn't put into Smash was because they said she was a scholar, not a fighter, so they used A Link Between Worlds Zelda instead. Then Age of Calamity came out and has Zelda wrecking the place with Sheikah Slate, and it was good, but it didn't last. As most characters improved, they got better combos, but the Sheikah Slate just got extensions to existing combos, which was fine, but the novelty soon wore off and I hardly used it. When Zelda unlocked the Light Arrow weapon, I always used that over the Slate, to the point using the Slate to capture the footage after 100% completing the game was the first time I'd used it pretty much since using it just to try out the combos once they were all unlocked. This is a weird one in that I can't really say I disliked the weapon because I didn't really use it, but the thought of using it doesn't make me groan. Starting a new game and having limited moves can be a little bit annoying, but knowing there's more to come keeps me going. When I first played as Mipha, I wasn't that fussed about her, but once she had all of her combos unlocked, she grew on me and I started to like her more and more. And then Sidon came into it and blew Mipha out the water. This dude rules. I've always loved dual wielding weapons anyway, but when you use a strong attack you can press a button to make it more powerful and effective. These moves are amazing, and not only are they great at taking out hordes of enemies, they can also be good at keeping the boss enemies under control and chipping away at their weak point meters. Plus, when you dash, he surfs on a water shark, and that's awesome. Seeing as just now I started talking about Mipha when really it was Sidon who took the spot, if I started talking about Daruk now, you'll probably be expecting me to suddenly switch to Yunobo for the space, right? Well, not this time, it's Daruk. He's quite a slow attacker, which is always going to be a negative for me, but characters can have other things to make up for it. Daruk doesn't. Sure, he has one strong attack that's pretty good, and the novelty of having magma pillars to explode or roll along is okay, but that novelty soon wears off and it never ends up being particularly useful in battle. As a character to play as, Daruk doesn't do it for me. Sure, I don't exactly hate him, but I find him to be a rather boring character to use and would definitely rather not. It's over! Dodge this! We all know Link will be somewhere on the list, but the biggest question is which of the 3 weapons he uses takes the spot. It was a close call between the sword and shield or the spear, and as much as I like the spear, it goes to the sword and shield because I found it more reliable in battle. Having the shield to parry attacks, or more importantly guardian beams, puts it just ahead of the spear. Several good combos, good against keeping bosses in their place, nice special attack, and the bow and arrow unique action also really comes in handy. I may use the spear for a bit of prattling around, but when things get serious, not only is the Sword and Shield my top choice for Link, it's also a fun weapon to use to bring the smackdown to the hordes of enemies. Heading to the Rito village for another entry via the champions, but which Rito will it be? Revali or Tevra? Both have their strengths and weaknesses, but I really don't get on with Tevra. He's a bit too all over the place. Yes, he has a strong attack that is really good for crowds, and he has one that's great for chipping away at a weak point gauge, but that's if you can get it to hit after he's gone darting around all over the place. I found it could make it awkward to attack something reliably, and with the camera trying to keep up with his movements, it causes things to become a jumbled mess and difficult to make out what's going on. His fire tornado weak point smash is really cool, his special attack is alright, and I'd probably say I prefer Tevra's character design over Revali's, but I'd still really rather not have to use him. When someone says they don't like something in a game, it always bugs me when people reply, "You just don't like it because you don't know how to use it properly." And sure, while knowing how to use a character properly in any game will really help, you still might not like them, but I kinda have to eat my words, because once I knew how to properly use Impa, my God, did I have a lot of fun with her. Her main gimmick is you put a symbol above an enemy's head and then hit them with a strong attack or kill them to absorb the symbol. This allows you to not only have clones of Impa to make all your moves more effective, but if you absorb all three symbols, it makes her special attack much more effective. At the start, I was planting and absorbing the symbols one at a time, but when I realised you could plant all three symbols, attack the three enemies and absorb them all at the same time, she quickly became one of my favourite characters. She has some brilliant strong attacks made even better by all the clones, which also makes getting the special attack meter up rather easy, so although the symbols only last a limited amount of time, I was able to use a fully powered up special attack almost every time. I'm a massive Naruto fan, so seeing her do all the hand sign goodness was an extra bonus, especially when she started summoning frogs. Sure, the mass frogging strong attack looks good, but I never found it particularly effective, which is a shame, but she still has plenty of tricks up her sleeve, making her one highly powerful and enjoyable character. My choices for the second and third most hated characters switched places quite a lot, because I have a lot of the same problems with them. They're all over the place, which has probably given away who is in the number 2 spot, WiiU. A good idea using the sand seal, called Patricia, to batter everyone into the sand, but just like with Tevra, she's all over the place, but she has a few other annoyances as well. Normally when you rush and then do a normal strike, that strike counts as the first hit in the combo, but with WiiU, she has a new combo while she's rushing. That might not sound too bad, but she has one strong attack which I absolutely love, where she rains down lightning as she surfs along, and you can control where she goes, so it obliterates everyone. It's brilliant and is one of my favourite strong attacks in the game. Problem is, because she has a new combo when rushing, you have to come to a grinding halt and then start the attack combo, but because she's all over the place when she's attacking, there's no guarantee you'll actually hit the enemy you want to. Some of her other combos are okay, I guess, the tornado one has its uses, but when the lightning surf move is really effective, only to have it made unreliable by her other moves, it's really disappointing. You could say it's to balance things out, but to me, making something awkward and unreliable for balancing is just stupid. Before revealing my favourite character, here are a few honourable mentions.
Did you doubt me? Silence!
Let's be honest, you've probably already guessed that Herbosa is my number one choice, but for a long time I had Impa as my number one and Herbosa as my number two. I very much enjoy both characters, but I find Herbosa has a little bit more fun factor as well as being an awesome badass. Building up her lightning meter by either attacking enemies or holding a button unleashes some devastating strong attacks on foes, which can easily build up her special attack meter just like with Impa, but whereas using Impa's special attack drains 2 of the 3 symbols, using Herbosa's special attack, which by the way rules, replenishes her lightning meter, as does using her weak point smash, so it becomes a cycle of lightning death to everyone. I enjoyed playing as her so much that when she did her weak point smash, where she strikes a few times and then clicks her fingers to rain down more lightning, I was actually raising my hand into the air and clicking my fingers at the same time she does, because I'm just that cool. Also, because she has a shield, she is able to deflect guardian beams back at them, which is the cherry on top of an already delicious cake. The number one hated may be a bit of a surprise, but before then, here are a few dishonourable mentions. For a long time I had WiiU as my number one hated because of how all over the place she is, but then I went back and tried a few other characters I hadn't really used, and that was when I realised Great Fairy sucks. It's a very strange choice of playable character anyway, but I rolled with it, and at first she seemed okay, but then when I took her into battle, her slow clunkiness really shone through, and it was almost painful to play. Yes, she does have 1 or 2 half decent strong attacks, especially against large crowds, but with how slow and clunky she is, you'll probably get bored before you've done enough attacks to finish the combo. Her special attack is nightmare inducing, and it doesn't matter how evil someone is, even they don't deserve to have this happen to them. I suppose it gets a point for entertainment value, but even so, the Great Fairy has very few redeeming qualities, and even the ones she does have aren't worth the slog for her to pull them off.
That wasn't so bad, was it?
So there we go, my top 5 loved and hated Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity characters. Check the description for a link to the Countdowns playlist, which has various loved and hated countdowns for Smash, the original Hyrule Warriors, Metroid Prime bosses, Studio Ghibli films and others. The special attacks list will probably be underway soon, so until then, thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and see you next time.